you doing?
Good, and you?
Could you grab that paper to the table right there?
Which one?
The one right there. We just finished that. And it's not math, but you can get with your fellow students and figure out what they thought. Again, that's as long as I get that back today, we're good. There we go. Still not good. Still running slow. Okay, we're gonna do this. We're gonna redo this puppy and see what happens. I have to run the dry erase board. I've done that before. But I'm gonna go ahead and hand this out. Chop a bunch of the stuff off while this is rebooting. All right, on a credit card. Thursday when we were here, before we took our long weekend, I gave you the first of the worksheets, and we talked about the formula, which is on the bottom of this page, which is the formula that's going to be throughout the entire chapter. Again, it's a short chapter, so it's not that big of a deal. But we talked about the formula on the back right here. New balance is equal to previous balance, what I owed at the beginning of the month, plus finance charge, which is what the bank's going to charge me because I didn't pay off last month, plus new purchases, which is what I'm buying this month, minus credits and payments, and credits. Okay, so that's the formula we're going to use for the entire chapter. But on that formula, the third entry, it says finance charge. Finance charge is basically interest that the bank is charging you for the fact you're using their credit card. Finance charge can be calculated two separate ways. 7.2 is the first way they do it. It's called the unpaid balance method. And what we do after break will be the last way, which is called the average daily balance, which you see average daily balance on a lot of things. And it actually, if you like math, it's a fun way of doing it, but it, you know, still can be a pain. So we're going to talk about the unpaid balance method. Obviously, the unpaid balance method means you didn't pay the balance from last month. That's a pretty much given. That's why it's called the unpaid balance method. Unpaid balance method, you're only going to have a fee if you do not pay off the bill at the end of the month. I don't know what's going on with this thing. There's ways around it. A couple of school years ago, I came in on the first 6 weeks and I could not get my stupid smartboard to work. So I had to use a piece of paper to hold it up. Got that paper there and then here. That. And then that paper right there. See if this works. This board is probably as old as you guys. And like a calculator or a computer or a cell phone, that's old for electronics. Okay, let's try this again. So, again, the formula is at the bottom of the second page. I kind of shortened it because I do that thing like that. There's three other formulas down there. They're each part of the section. The fee that you're being charged on this, if you look at the second formula down at the bottom, it talks about unpaid balance is equal to the previous balance, what I owed at the end of last month, what I owed last month, minus any payments and credits. In other words, I used my credit card last month. I owed $500 on my credit card. At the end of the month, I made a payment of $400 payment. So 500 minus 400, my unpaid balance would be $100. And then you look down there, the next formula down is the finance charge. The extra money I'm paying to the bank is unpaid balance, what I owed from last month that I did not pay off, which is $100. I already talked about that, times, and this is the only percentage right there, which is called the periodic rate. Periodic rate, if you look at a credit card and it is a 12-month, and I'm making this number up, if it's a 12-month APR of 12%, you take 12% and you divide it by 12 because there's 12 months in the year. So the APR, the periodic rate would be 1% per month because it's 1/12 per year. So on some of those things we had earlier up here, the 19.5% on number E, to figure out what the periodic rate would be for that month, you take 19.5 divided by 12. So that's how they calculate the periodic rate. So question number 1 on the front of this. It gives you the formula in the heading. And it says up in the gray, the lesson above, it says periodic rate is 1.5%. So 1.5% would be 18% APR. 18 divided by 12 is 1.5%. It's a pretty high interest rate. It's not too bad. Okay, so the previous balance from last month was $600. Payments and credits that I paid last month was $100. So how much do I owe that I did not pay off from last month? 600 minus 100 is what?
500.
500, right? So 600 minus 100 is 500. That is my unpaid balance from last month. Using the formula back here for your finance charge, you took the unpaid balance times 1.5%. So what, 750 or something like that on top of your head? What? Okay. So my fee would be $7.50. So the unpaid balance is 500. My finance charge is $7.50 on question number 1. Okay. So you go back up above and you say the formula is, you're looking for the new balance. The new balance is previous balance. Do all this stuff here. Basically, it's 500 plus 750 plus the $70 for new charges. Add it all up. What do you got?
$577.50.
$577.50. So my new balance is $577.50. Okay. Look at me so far. That's about as hard as it gets, guys. There's really no algebra in this one. Just plug it in with the formulas. Now there's a trick question. Look for question number 4 real quick. Question number 4. Jordan Amadeo's charge account statement shows a previous balance of. Okay. Number 4, he showed a previous balance of 284.86. Payments of $100 and a finance charge of $351. Okay. To the nearest 100, what is the monthly periodic rate he's being charged? The finance charge formula back here is unpaid balance. Hold on, there's another one right there. Previous balance, unpaid balance, okay, payments. Okay. So the unpaid balance, the first one here is, which is what we need, is previous balance minus this. So the unpaid balance okay, that's his unpaid balance. Okay. You're wanting the finance charge. You want the periodic rate is what they're asking for. And to do that, you take the unpaid balance times periodic rate, which we don't know, and that's going to equal finance charge. Okay, so how do we get X by itself? Finance charge is equal to unpaid balance times periodic rate. Now we got X by itself. How do we move this on the other side? Let's put it that way.
Subtract.
Well, this is multiplication, right? What's the opposite of multiplication? Divide. So divide both sides by 184.86. These cancel out. Now, you notice this number up on the top is small compared to this on the bottom. So we're going to have a fraction. So 351 divided by 184.86. As long as you don't have fixed decimals, I'm getting a decimal answer of 0.1899. And they asked for percentage. How do you convert anything to a percentage? There's 2 ways of doing it. They both are basically the same. One's with a calculator, one's without. But how do you make something a percent? Multiply by 100. Okay, so I told you it's multiply by 100. And I get 1.899. Don't forget your percent sign. Because it's a percent, right?
I got 0.02 when I divided.
You probably had fixed decimals, didn't you?
I don't know. Maybe.
If you do fixed decimals with 2 decimal places, you're going to get 0.02. Multiply by 100 though, and it'll probably move the dash. You'll probably have 1.9 probably.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, you have fixed decimals, so sometimes you need to make it to floating decimals. In fact, especially considering the question specifically says to the 100%. 100% is right there. So technically speaking, 1.9 is acceptable, okay? I'll even accept that, but it's got no less than 1.9. If you put 2, it's kind of wrong. 1.9 is acceptable because it's going to round to that anyway. Okay, if you guys got individual questions, I will come around and answer. This is it till break, okay? Everybody went out and hunted Easter eggs yesterday or the day before yesterday?